Everyone, welcome to the Symbio Cannabis podcast, where we teach you how to launch, scale, and exit in the cannabis industry and the CBD industry. I'm Aaron Nospish.
And I'm Matt Seibert.
Today, we're going to be going over this new Brightfield Group study from July 2020. It's the title is Navigating Seismic Shifts. It's a July 2020 US CBD report by Brightfield. And if anyone's familiar that's listening with Brightfield, they do these quarterly studies about the CBD industry, about the cannabis industry, but really about the CBD industry. What's been happening, where the market's trending, what's been happening in the market from the past quarter, and it's really interesting stuff. It's especially interesting now with COVID and us kind of getting into this new reality post-COVID, or as we start to enter towards post-COVID, and it's really interesting to see how much COVID has really kind of shifted trends in the CBD space.
Yeah, definitely. Especially they call it a seismic shift. And it was like going from brick and mortar sales to online direct to consumer sales. And we'll show you how big of a shift that was very fast. And then also the gummy sales have exploded over the last year. So we'll show that when we share the document. But yeah, maybe we could you want to share your screen, or you want me to do it?
Yeah, I'll share my screen. And we'll kind of talk through it too while we're doing that. But, one thing I was going to say kind of before this is, I was talking to a buddy earlier. He runs a podcast called Future Commerce, which is a really great podcast. I highly recommend it. He was talking about how, COVID was really kind of an accelerant for the retail industry, switching it from retail to online. A lot of these companies that were eventually going to go out anyway, as this shift happens, this has kind of just accelerated that process. It's crazy. I mean, no, it's like, if before it was an integrated commerce experience between digital and retail, it's now happened. Like we're at the point where it's if you're not online, if you're not coming up with revenue channels that are digital revenue channels, you won't survive. It's really that simple.
I just saw a report or this video. This malls are closing all over the countries, and they're going to be using malls for like Amazon warehousing now.
I heard about this. Yeah, it's wild, man, and it's not going to stop. It's only going to continue going. It'll be really curious. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump in, and I'll share my screen. Can you guys see that?
Yeah, maybe you can make it like bigger.
Yeah, here we go.
Cool.
There we go. Cool. So yeah, let's go through this and we'll kind of point out some things that me and Matt saw that you might find interesting. We'll kind of go through this. So Brightfield study. Brightfield's an awesome little group. You can find them online at brightfieldgroup.com. So talking about introduction, the impact of COVID, the importance of digital marketing, D2C, which is great because I think it's been really critical of CBD this whole time, but people haven't been really paying attention to it. But it's something we talk about quite a bit.
Oh yeah, Aaron is one of the best D2C experts in the world. And for those that don't know, it's direct to consumer. So selling online direct to your consumer, which of course gets you the best margins as a business.
Absolutely. And then the innovation does not slow down. I think that's an important concept in changing competitive landscape. So jumping in, this is kind of where we're seeing the CBD market size shift in what they're forecasting. I honestly was expecting it to be bigger. I thought it was going to be a little bit bigger. I was expecting, I think, $25 billion by 2022 is what I think. I think that maybe one of their old studies suggested some larger numbers, but it seems like they're starting to now kind of average out. One of the things, and we get down to this towards the end, but I think one of the big things is, we're just so nascent when it comes to innovation in the marketplace. It's how can CBD be used across the board in all kinds of different products that allows for a market cap to reflect the benefits of the product. And, people are they're just getting into it. But I wouldn't be surprised if the next Brightfield study we see has these numbers larger than they are now, but we'll see. Cool. Much of the growth in the CBD, of CBD will be driven by extensive media coverage of natural and health and wellness trends, growing awareness of CBD's health benefits combined with the movement towards natural alternatives to pharmaceuticals is driving consumer demand for CBD products. Yeah. Expanded distribution channel. CBD products went mainstream in 2019 at CVS, Walgreens, Kroger's, Albertsons, and other national retail chains began to sell CBD in their stores. Sephora has also expanded their selection of CBD products in 2020. And Whole Foods as
that
well,
one's interesting. Yeah, because the companies with big budgets right now can make those inroads into those bigger retail operations. So they're able to kind of not be as hurt by the COVID situation, I think, whereas like the smaller brick and mortar stores are hurting, like, but obviously Kroger's is not hurting right now.
Right. Well, yeah, it's totally. I'm glad to see CBD products and brands getting into space. I've heard that some of these are just private label brands owned by these companies, and then I've heard others are some of these more major brands. But it's always interesting to see which brands get in and why they get into these bigger places. But at the end of the day, for me, it seems like if you have the budget to stack the inventory so you can get the product to them, if you can, give them the prices that make sense for them. But ultimately, it's really if you simply have the connections to them. It seems like it's really a who knows who.
And if you have the inventory to be able to deal with the big orders that they're going to place, if
and they want it up front without sometimes without payment, they want a whole shipment, or once you deliver the full shipment, they'll pay you for it. So you got to come up with the budget for all the inventory. It's an interesting thing. Product variety and evolution, the growing diversification and sophistication of CBD products appeals to a much broader consumer audience beyond cannabis users and natural food store consumers. I think this is really important. I think that there's still a lot of education that needs to happen in the marketplace for people to understand the benefits they can receive from CBD.
100%.
And that I think that's going to continue to go. Strategic market. I found this to be really interesting. CBD companies are still using multiple methods, including social media, podcasts, radio ads, print media, and infomercials to reach consumers. I think that's. Yeah, and it's just
media,
man.
It's media. You have to be a media company that sells CBD. Like if you can educate people through radio ads, print ads, infomercials, and other formats, that's what it's all about. Like it's all about content and education, I think.
I think it's about content. I think it's about education. I think it's realizing that your brand and your product is just one aspect of your brand. That like ultimately, if you can get diversified on unique channels of acquisition, that you'll do really well. I think one thing that a lot of companies do wrong is they try to hit all these at the same time though. Find one or two that you can do really well, get that churning and systemized, and then move on to the next. I was just talking to a company yesterday who's just killing it on podcasts. And I don't think it's for everyone. I don't think it's for every product. I've heard of a lot of people that try to do podcast marketing that totally fail. So, I'm not saying it's for everybody, but they were actually like a flower-based product, and they were doing CBD flower-based product, and they were doing pretty well in podcasts. I think social media acquisition through different social advertising channels, it's only going to get bigger. Google, we can advertise on Google now. We can advertise on Snapchat now. We can advertise on Facebook now. Like it's in Instagram now. So like the opportunities to acquire customers is only getting bigger. And I think that's actually if you can be an underdog brand and figure out channels of acquisition before the big box players have the opportunity to discover it and figure it out, you can do well, and you can start finding a lot of this market share.
Yeah, like I see a ton of brands crushing it with affiliate marketing and influencers, and they're not big brands. They're just really smart marketers they're becoming big brands because of that though. Like their sales are exploding, and so that's a very good point.
Totally. So impact of COVID-19. As Americans shelter in place during COVID-19 pandemic, CBD companies are facing both challenges and opportunities. A major challenge is loss of revenue from the store closures, as many retailers selling CBD products have either closed temporarily during the crisis or are only offering curbside pickup and delivery, which I think the whole curbside pickup thing for cannabis and CBD products during COVID is like hilarious. Like my local dispensary down the street, like they have a tent popped up in the back of their dispensary, like a nice multi-million-dollar dispensary. In the back of it's a little tent where they sell weed. And I'm just like, it's like throwback to like, you're still buying, like, even though now we're legal and now that we can go buy and have like Apple Store experiences to buy our cannabis, nope, we're still going to the back of the building and buying it from the guy.
I just do my delivery service, so I don't even go to.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. That's the way to do it. They are experiencing steep declines in sales as social distancing guidelines and consumer worries about contracting coronavirus keep shoppers at home. Another challenge is consumers' reduced ability to buy CBD products as the U.S. is experiencing the highest unemployment rate since the Great Depression in the 1930s. Over 30 million Americans are receiving unemployment benefits as of July 14, 2020. Very curious.
Yeah.
The importance of digital marketing and D2C. As strong e-commerce presence is especially, I thought I should read each one of these. That's probably, I'll go a little higher level. People are not going into retail stores. They are stopping to go into retail stores and they're buying online.
Well, before COVID, 70% of CBD sales were in retail stores. After COVID, it's totally flip-flopped. Look at that, 45% now are buying online instead of 30%, which it was before COVID.
It says millennial shoppers are the most likely to have switched online stores for their CBD needs, with 54% reporting switching from brick and mortar to stores online. 54% of millennial shoppers of CBD have switched from stores to online.
Yeah.
Their usage and spending also increased during this stressful time. So as a result, 45% of CBD consumers surveyed in June 2020 have moved to buying their CBD online. Nuts. I would think it'd be more, actually.
I think it's going to only grow. I think next year it'll be 65.
Yeah.
You know.
So it says of consumers surveyed who have moved their CBD purchases online. So maybe, I guess that doesn't factor for the existing portion that was buying online.
Yeah, I'm not sure. That's a weird wording. You're right. So I'm not sure what they mean by that exactly.
Totally. CBD companies with extensive direct-to-consumer experience, a database of e-newsletter subscribers, and large social media followings have been able to reach out to their consumers and sell through their brand websites. Yeah, that's a little understated, but yep. In addition, DTC capabilities, CBD companies are well-organized brands, strong digital marketing strategy are expected to fare best in the challenging environment. During this time crisis and economic upheaval, consumers are looking for familiar and trusted brands. In fact, our brand health data shows that the top 3 brand descriptions for US CBD consumers are high quality, trustworthy, and reliable. That's curious.
That's a point I wanted to make there is like, I would be using those words on my website.
Yeah, I mean, they're right there. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's
high
very
quality,
good.
Trustworthy, and reliable. And you know what you don't see here? Affordable.
That's interesting. Yeah, good, very good point. So people are look at some of the biggest brands like our buddy Cody Pure Canna. He's not cheap. Look at their prices. So and they're doing very well, and because they have a great product as well. So that's a great point.
Totally.
Cool. Oh, and then another good point here is that they're shutting down the expos, like the trade shows, which when I had my brand was my #1 seller because I love being out at trade shows and talking to people, and that's all gone right now. And so it's a big challenge.
So it says, online CBD purchasing increased by 61% from Q1 to Q2. So 29% of people bought online. Now it's 47.
Yeah,
so I guess that's for that number. Yeah.
That's a huge jump.
Huge. Of all CBD users in Q2 2020 have used CBD for more than 1 year. That's kind of cool. More long-term use that we're seeing that they're continuing to use it. So half the customers who use CBD keep using it. Users in Q2 2020 have used CBD for more than 1 year. Yeah, cool. That's not exactly what I said, but so it's of all CBD users in Q2 2020 have 49% have used CBD for more than 1 year. Curious. Usage rate. The amount of consumers using CBD on a daily basis increased from 6% from Q1 to Q2. I think that'd be a little bit more than that, but it's cool. This is kind of cool. Product types used. 88% of more CBD consumers use gummies, candies in Q2 and Q1. So 88% increase in using gummies or candies for their CBD intake. And 5x more consumers reported using other edibles. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I think people like that type of dosage, that type of like gummy vitamin.
I love gummies, man. I prefer gummies actually. I like tinctures too, but I love gummies. Like it's just an easy way to get the medicine in you, and especially if they're vegan gummies.
Yeah, I agree.
And then we're talking about innovation here. There's new products coming out, of course, with COVID, like Bluebird Botanicals, which is one of my favorite companies, has come up with an immune support tincture, which is smart, and Medterra as well. And then, of course, the new cannabinoid, or not new cannabinoids, but people are adding in CBN and CBG. And now they didn't even mention Delta-8 THC, which is probably after the.
It's so interesting, man. I'm just so curious to see how this whole Delta-8 thing falls out. Yeah, I read one of those comments. One of the guys was saying like, "Oh, the horse is already let out of the barn on this one." People are already out. I get it. I get what they're saying, but like, people have no clue what Delta-8 is still. Like consumer-wise, they have no clue. No. Like, and I mean, I don't think the government really understands it.
No, I don't think so. Yeah, I think they're behind. And if you're making a Delta-8 brand, if I'm you better make it child-proof packaging, man.
Oh, it has to be. I mean, it's literally the precursor, or I don't know. It's pretty close to the precursor of THC. Like it gets you. Literally. I was talking to someone the other day, and I'm a medical patient in the state of Florida, and which has reciprocity across to several other states. And I'm using in private residence, and someone passes me a cartridge, and it's a clear cartridge, and I'm like, "What is this?" And they're like,
distillate, yeah.
They think, well, tell me it's a distillate cartridge, but I mean, it's crystal clear. I've seen crystal clear distillate. There's no way in hell. This was Delta-8. And I was really surprised using the product. It's a really interesting effect. It's not nearly as strong as THC, but it definitely is a psychoactive effect, and it doesn't last as long. It's what I've noticed as well. Uh,
Interesting.
but it's a really what are your like personal opinions on Delta 8? Have you tried it and experienced?
I haven't. I need to try it. I'm on the Delta 9 all day long, but
Yeah,
that's
right.
different. But yeah, I need to order some just to try it out since I've been talking about it a lot. But
Where would you order it from?
oh, there's tons of places online now that are,
Just Googling Delta 8.
there are people in our groups, in our CBD business success group. There's like 10 brands already that are doing it.
Can you buy
Um,
it on? Can you buy it on? Yeah, see like this cart right here.
yeah, exactly.
This is what I had, something like this. I had no clue.
Yeah, because they're making it into a distillate and it makes it clear like that.
So you
Um,
can't buy it on Amazon, right?
I don't think so. I haven't tried looking. Let's see.
No.
No, not yet.
But it really is curious. I'm curious to see what this looks like over time. People are talking about it for a little bit, but I don't think people realize it's legal.
Yeah, and two lawyers that I've spoken to said it's totally legal. The bigger concern with the feds, the bigger concern is with the states. Like the states could make it illegal,
Yeah.
and so then 6 states already have at least. Yeah, it is legal federally at the moment, but state-wise is the issue. So all this, any state could just enact a law and make it illegal. It kind of reminds me of kratom.
Yeah, me too.
Kratom gets you high,
Yeah, for
and
sure.
it's only illegal in 5 states. And so my buddy makes $20 million a year selling kratom. And so,
Yeah. No, I mean
um,
it's definitely and I don't think kratom is good for the general consumer, but I think if you have opiate substance abuse problems and you're trying to get off of
it's a
opiates,
better alternative.
it's amazing. It's way better than methadone. It's way better than
Yeah,
Suboxone. Excuse me, I know those are medical pharmaceutical grade drugs that people get hooked on, but kratom is a natural alternative that has a small dose of opiates in it that allows for that has minimal withdrawal effects, but they can be intense. But my point is, I highly do not recommend people who do not have experience with opiates or getting off and are not trying to get off opiates. I don't think it's a good product for people just to use on a regular basis. But if people are trying to get off of these more intense products, these pharmaceuticals, it makes total sense. I mean, it's a miracle plant
yeah.
in that regard.
And Delta 8 could, I'm not a doctor and I'm not saying because I haven't even tried it, but it could potentially be a replacement for certain pills and other
Absolutely, man.
things.
Absolutely. And if it's legal and you don't have to go through all it's going to be curious. I don't think that the horse has left the barn with this one. I do think there's an opportunity. I mean, uh, I think that there's an opportunity for Delta 8 brands. I think if I was to start a Delta 8 brand right now, I would go super brand healthy or brand heavy. I'm sorry. I'd go very clear on educational content and supporting content on what it feels like, what it is like. And, like, I wonder how people are promoting it. But I definitely think if you can come up with some really clean, cool copy, and really clean, cool media to support the benefits of Delta 8, without being overly, recreational with it.
Yeah, because there's some people that are just like legal THC and all that,
Yeah,
and it's like
I
very
got it.
easy. It's easy to do that, and it's like tacky in a way, like
Yeah, and it also sounds like K2. It reminds me of like Cloud9, like that. The synthetic THC stuff that they had
yeah,
back 20 years or 10 years ago. Uh, so like I think it's really curious. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
yeah. So
Okay,
we'll
so
keep an eye on that, and yeah. So
so further along product innovation, going on that same train, like we always talk about using CBD as an ingredient. Look what we're seeing here. This is kombucha infused with CBD. We're seeing
topicals, gummies.
vitamins infused. We're seeing this is soothing mouthwash and fluoride-free toothpaste. By the way, have you ever had a soothing mouthwash? I
No,
haven't.
that's good. And then look at the companies: Colgate,
Yeah,
Palmolive, and GlaxoSmithKline, which is a fucking pharmaceutical company. So that's interesting.
it's
Um,
crazy, man. Like, and these companies are huge.
yeah. Oh
Like,
God, I can only imagine what
they're
they're.
market cap is $203 billion behind this little product.
Yeah, yeah, they got money. And this is interesting too. Look at top 5 CBD companies by total sales, Medterra, Green Roads, and American Shaman and CBDFX are all brick and mortar primarily. Like they all sell
Yeah.
online, but they're primarily
Yeah.
brick and mortar brands. And then Charlotte Web, look at both sides of the coin. They're just crushing it because they had
You know,
such a head start.
they had such a head start, and like they're iconically associated with CBD.
Yeah, they did a great job positioning themselves. Like, and then that the documentary with Dr. Gupta was just earth shattering. It changed the world. So
Totally. And all this media with Charlotte, I mean, it's wild. I mean, I think people have seen these videos where Charlotte's having seizures. She uses CBD, and she's totally fine after.
yeah,
It's wild.
it's sad
Um,
that she passed away recently. God
right.
bless her.
My condolences to the family.
Yeah,
But a really interesting play. It's it's not a play. I think these people do care about the product, and I think they got such an early head start, and they actually did care about the patients, and they actually cared about the product, and by doing so, they positioned themselves extremely well. And now it's a business play. Now they've brought in the big dogs to kind of help them, dominate the market. They're doing exactly that. Something I really like to see is I like to see CBD Distillery up here. I know those guys a little bit. They're really rad people, and they care. They create great products at affordable prices, and they've done that the whole time. They've been pretty steady pace with that, and I really like to see them there. They also do a lot of great white label, which I think is cool. Medterra, I don't know if you've been paying attention, but their ad game is getting good.
yeah.
They have made some cool content. They're got some cool landing pages. They're definitely targeting that older niche for sure. At least online, and I'm curious to see how that goes over time.
I just don't like that they personally. I think most of their stuff is isolate, and I just don't personally.
No, I'm not about that at all. But the marketing's good, and it's funny you don't see them here, or you do see them here. But it's funny that
they're killing it in retail, brick and mortar, and then CBD Distillery. The reason why they're so big on the internet side is because of Reddit. Man, this is like 5 years ago, 4 years.
Oh yeah, dude.
They crushed through. That's how they built their whole brand, through Reddit.
Bro, when I first got into the game,
look at people are hating on them now. Fair warning on.
Uh-oh. When I first got into the game and I was looking for where to buy CBD and what were the trusted people to buy it from, CBD Distillery was the place to go.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're saying about it now, but back then, that was, if you wanted real good CBD, if you went to Reddit to study what products to buy, which is often what a lot of people did, it was CBD Distillery. That was the place, and it wasn't a paid thing. It was people they had a good relationship with those people, and you're right, they built a lot of their brand on Reddit early on.
And then I think Lazarus Naturals. Can you bring them up? Their website?
I don't even know them.
I know that company. I think what it is with them is they're really low priced, I believe. Let's see.
Oh.
I think that's why they look at that. Let's see, they're really super low price products.
Yeah. Curious. It's not the best website.
No, I don't really love the website. Hit us up, Lazarus. We'll redesign your site.
Man. If you guys are doing that well with where you're at now,
man.
Cleaning up your site and turning it a little bit more to a direct-to-consumer brand with a little bit more, steam behind it, you would do incredible. It's probably a lot of good online distribution deals as well. People, it's not retail, but they do a lot of online major deals with companies. A lot of these guys, some of them more vertically into one, something online deals. But anyway, whatever. Okay.
I think a lot of CBD marketplaces sell Lazarus Naturals. That's how they get a lot of sales as well.
Probably great margins for affiliate sales and private sales like that. The number of consumers reporting they buy CBD online increased from 29% in Q1 to 47% in Q2. We're Brightfield Group, provide consumers. So there's more information at brightfieldgroup.com. Great study. I mean, really cool, interesting insights. This industry is really developing quite a bit. It's fun to be where we are in this game, keeping our pulse on it, man. I enjoy it, and I've learned a lot, and I'm really curious to see where we go. I'm expecting a lot more product diversity. I'm expecting a lot more online sales. I expect that brand is ultimately going to do what matters when buying CBD products, because over the long term, as CBD products change, I'm expecting Delta 8 to be bigger than most of us realize. I just hope it doesn't cause harm to the CBD industry, because I don't want it to be the demonized cannabinoid one day. And so I would highly urge those who are going to get into it, don't be don't be shady with it.
Yeah, don't be
Like,
dicks.
don't, you know,
And also,
steward this plan.
yeah, exactly. And so that's something to be really cognizant of in your market.
Cognizant. Yep.
Yeah. And another thing too is we do these podcasts all the time, people. So hit the subscribe button. You'll be able to get notifications when we add new ones. And we're always
Heck
just
yeah.
on the pulse, talking about new things in the industry, and like we did today. And so if you want the latest news, this is where to find us. And we have consulting services as well. So just hit us up if you have any questions about that. We're able to get your Facebook ads live or your money back. So that's always good. And people think that it's not possible to get CBD ads live on Facebook. But how long have
See,
you
we're crushing it
been doing
lately.
it, Aaron? 3 years now?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've been doing ads for like 6, 7 years, and it's been over $4 million or several $1 million on the platforms, and I have and I we've been running CBD ads for at least I guess 2018, February 2018, so we started doing CBD ads for Facebook. And early on, it was tough. Now we got it down compliant, and we're starting to get some strong results from some of our clients. So it's pretty cool. But I highly urge those who have not gone on that boat to get on that boat. And if you haven't joined our Facebook group, CBD Business Success on Facebook is the place to be for all things CBD. And we also have our Accelerator, CBD Business Accelerator, which is our private group and our private membership portal for people or for brands who want to build, scale, and exit with a community of people who know what they're doing. We have Matt has probably one of the biggest networks in cannabis, and I often say Matt is the most connected guy in the CBD world. And so if you're looking to find the right people to work with, you're looking for brands to communicate with and grow with, and if you're looking to figure out the challenges and the struggles and learn from them from other people's experience so you don't have to experience them, CBD Accelerator is the place to be for that. So you can find the links in our description. Guys, thank you so much for watching us today. We really appreciate it. We'll be back here next week, and in the meantime, you can find us online.
See you next time, people.